understanding, therapy is supposed to help the marriage, but can someone do me a favor and please tell that to Guillermo? Welcome back to Reality Recaps Unfiltered. I'm Ruby, and you already know the deal. The Last Resort is not a vacation. It's 6 couples on the edge of divorce, locked in a castle in beautiful merry old England, forced into conversations they've spent years avoiding. So when somebody says something here, they really mean it. So Season 3, Episode 6, titled Fall on Your Sword. This week, Guillermo says one thing that he cannot take back, and Kara breaks down. 2 grown men nearly come to blows outside of a bar in the beautiful English countryside. A line gets drawn in the sand at Wilderness Therapy of all places, and Jenny and Sumit hit their 15-year breaking point. Real quick, let me tell you who's in the cast, just in case you're new here. We have Kara and Guillermo, Jenny and Sumit, Rebecca and Zied, Shekinah and Sarper, Paola and Russ, and Thaís and Patrick. Everybody gets covered. Nobody gets skipped. So let's get into it. Pull up. I have to lead with Kara and Guillermo because this is the moment the whole internet has been talking about. In a therapy session, the therapist asked Guillermo a question that on paper should be the easiest one in the world. Does he feel pride when he looks at Kara, the mother of his child? And Guillermo said no. Flat. One word. No cushion. No, but here's what I mean. No. Walking it back. And then you watch it hit Kara in real time. You watch her try and hold it together in front of the camera and the therapist and a man she built a family with. And she just can't get it. She breaks down completely. I need you to feel the weight of that because this is not, we're having different parenting styles. This is not, I wish we can just communicate better. That is a verdict. Your partner in the role you've probably poured most of yourself into looked at you and said, I am not proud of you. And let me give him the fair read because that's what we do here. Guillermo is not a talker. He processes it slow, like any man. He doesn't have the word ready, and English is not his first language in a high-pressure therapy room. It's entirely impossible that in that head, no meant, I don't know how to answer the question right now. People freeze. People give the wrong one-word answer under a spotlight. But, there's always a but, Kara didn't hear the version in his head. Their kid won't hear the version in his head. When the question is literally, are you proud of the mother of your child? The answer cannot be a flat no. Whatever you meant, that woman is now sitting absorbing it, thinking, the father of my baby is not proud of me. That's a wound that she carries out of that room. And what got to me is that she wasn't asking for a speech. She was asking for him to write her a poem. She wanted one soft thing. One, yes, of course. And she didn't get it at all. Welcome to couples therapy, ladies and gentlemen. And it did not cool down from there because that man's episode was not done, to say the least. Outside the bar, we get Sarper. And listen, I love a castle. It's giving Jane Austen vibes. It's giving Misty Gardens. It's giving, we've come here to heal. And then 2 grown men are squaring up outside the pub like it's a parking lot after their last call. A tonal whiplash, if I may say. Here's what I keep coming back to. The whole point of Thornbury Castle is that you do the hard work in the room with a professional in a contained space. Sarper decided that the containment was optional, and what worries me isn't Sarper's temper, it's where he took it. He didn't blow up at Shekinah in the room where a therapist could catch it and work with it. He took the fire outside to a bystander at a bar. That's the tell. That man's avoiding the harder fight, the one with his actual wife, by picking an easier one with a guy who was just standing there. She kind of did not travel to a castle to babysit a grown man's bar beef. And it bleeds straight into wilderness therapy. Everybody's out there doing this raw, open exercise. And Guillermo, still carrying the therapy room, still rattled from the bar, draws a line in the sand with Kara. And that's the part that told me something. Because wilderness therapy is designed to break down your walls. You're outside. You're uncomfortable. You're stripped of distractions. It's supposed to make you soft. And Guillermo used it to draw a boundary against her instead of bringing a bridge towards her. When the exercise is built to bring you together, it becomes the place where you plant your flag on your own side. That man is already halfway out the gate. Now, let's get into these long haulers. Of course, I'm talking about Jenny and Sumit. 15 years together. That's not a fling. That is not a green card story. That is life. And this week, Jenny hit her breaking point over Sumit's parents getting further and further into their marriage. And then she said something that reframed the whole relationship for me. She plainly told us why she doesn't trust him anymore. And that one hurt because I've watched Jenny and Sumit for years. They have been through so many obstacles. I just want to see them happy. I'm not going to flip about it because their whole thing has always carried a real cultural weight. Sumit was navigating a family, an expectation, a culture where your parents' involvement in your marriage isn't a bug, it's the system. And Jenny came in loving him through all of it for over a decade. So when she says she doesn't trust him, that's not a small crack. Ladies and gentlemen, that is 15 years of giving him the benefit of the doubt and finally running out. Jenny is not new. Jenny is by far not naive. She has been standing in that living room, in that country, next to those in-laws for 7 years. I'm going to say that again. 7 years. When that woman tells you she's at her breaking point, you better damn well believe her. Now, Rebecca and Zied, this couple's literally gives me headaches anytime I see their scenes. They have cultural, religion, a 22-year-old age gap, and cheating accusations that have never been fully resolved. They're basically living separate lives, but under one roof. And living under one roof is kind of specific because they're not fighting. Fighting means you still care enough to yell. This is quiet. Two people who have agreed without agreeing just to coexist. I believe that's called a roommate. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I will not convict either one of them of cheating because we've got accusations, not answers. But when both people describe it as separate lives, the cheating is a symptom. The disease is the distance. Now, Paola and Russ, this week they laid their marriage and intimacies all the way bare in therapy. And I know that sounds like a thing people mumble around and change the subject on. They said it out loud in a room to a professional. And you know what? Good for them. Because the couples who make it out of this retreat are not the ones with no problems. It's the ones willing to put the ugly stuff on the table under the lights. Ladies and gentlemen, couples will fight about dishes, money, in-laws, because those fights are safer than the real one underneath. Paola and Russ skip the decoys, and that's the opposite of line in the sand energy. That's two people walking toward each other. And then we have Thaís and Patrick, quietly, and I do mean quietly. The couple is rebuilding some trust at this retreat. There's no explosion, no bar fight, no line in the sand, just two people doing the slow, unglamorous work of earning each other back. I know that doesn't make it for a highlight reel, but hey, at least they're trying. But given where these two started this season, the divorce filing, the arrest before framed air show, a marriage that everybody in the audience had already written off. And quite productive is enormous. Thaís and Patrick are here doing the assignments while everyone else is getting sent to the principal's office, like Russ, because, like Paola says, he did not complete his homework. Now let me land this. A one-word answer that broke a marriage open. A fight that belonged in a therapy room, and instead it happened in a parking lot. A boundary drawn at the exercise built for bridges, and 15 years of patience is finally hitting the floor. My verdict? This episode was really heavy. It earned every minute of it. And the person leaving the castle single is closer than the edits want you to think. If you're not on Patreon yet, pull up. $5 for early access, $10 for super tier fan, and $25 gets your name on the credits. Iconic. Drop in the comments your response about, is Guillermo wrong for saying it, or was it the way that he delivered it? Because those are two different arguments, and I want to know yours. I'm Ruby. You've been warned. Thank you for listening to Reality Recaps Unfiltered. I hope you all have a great day. Peace.